Hello. So I am doing my live video for today, and I am usually deleting them and then uploading them to my YouTube channel. Um, so that's a thing. Um, so I'm doing pretty good today, feeling pretty decent. An update is, I'm still waking up most mornings. I moved my bed around, so of course now I'm waking up with a little bit deeper PTSD again in the morning because I'm a lot of fun. Also, have had a lot of traumatic stuff happen in the last couple of years, and so my body is definitely working with the trauma disorder right now. So, but I know that, and also that's when the seizures that I was having originally were happening as I was waking up. So my brain is sensitive to those wake up, the wake up situation. I am, wish I could talk a little bit more right now. I have a whole lot going on in my mind, but not everything that is going through your mind needs to be voiced at all times. So I'm kind of like being like, okay, I should talk about that. Okay, don't talk about that. And that's not usually a thing. I have just been like, okay, this needs to be talked about. I need to get this out. But I'm kind of like a little past that point now. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should, not talk about that. Maybe that'll bother someone. But then I have this whole thing that kicks in that's like, who gives a fuck? Because, like, like, there isn't enough communication on, like, like, what am I getting out of it kind of thing. And not in a mean way, because it's not a direct thing. It's like, like doing live videos in general, like that kind of thing, where I'm like, maybe I'm bothering people from doing live videos, maybe I shouldn't do them. Well, it's like, in reality, that's not a thing. It's kind of like being fat. Like, when you're fat, it's like, oh, am I bothering people because I'm fat? Like, no, like, that doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. That's just you. Unless somebody actually brings it up to you, like, and it's a conversation and stuff, then, like, why would you even consider that? So, I'm having a lot of thoughts like that. I've got, um, a dear friend situation that I'm kind of like, what's happening? Why is this happening? What's going on in this situation? And like, I don't really understand it, but at the same time, like, there's not a lot of, like, I'm not self-aware enough to, like, not self-aware, but like, I'm not a good enough, this is like on the, like, dating and friends kind of situation, I'm not good enough socially to understand, um, things like, maybe if I do this, this person will do this. Like, I am very much a go-getter person, to where, like, if I want to do something, I communicate it. If I want to do something, I do it or communicate it. And, like, but the thing is like, I'm really super aware and a very kind person when it comes to other people and their boundaries and stuff. It's like, um, I've made mistakes, of course, everybody does, and but like I definitely will put my feelers out for things and ask questions, and watch body language, to see like how other, it's like if I've asked directly and people kind of dance around questions, um, or put off a lot of energy, and then I ask them questions and they kind of go against the energy and stuff that they put out and stuff, and it's like, okay, that's not a me problem, that's a you problem. But at the same time, like, if it's a situation to where like, oh, like this still matters, like this is still a thing, then I will sit and think about it, because I'm like, it's like, I don't want to do things or make decisions for, like, I don't know, I'm not a person that just like says stuff. Like, if I ask somebody to hang out, or if, this is the thing, it's like, if I ask somebody like, hey, you want to hang out, like, that means that I want to see you. Like, that doesn't, like, or that I want to talk to you, that I want to get to know you. Um, you know, Whether or not I have like any kind of attractive feelings towards you, it doesn't come into play. I could want to marry you. I could want to like help you, or want you to help me get a job. Like, good luck finding out which. I'm just kidding. You could ask, and I'll tell you. But like, I'm not gonna offer that information because, to be honest with you, I feel like that is crossing boundaries. And like I said, like, I'm really, like, I don't just throw information like that out because, like, I am a responsible person when it comes to my emotions and boundaries and stuff. And like, I mean, who doesn't want to be friends with someone that finds them attractive? Like, why would you like, why would that be the deciding factor of not wanting to hang out with somebody? Like, that's weird, I'm not gonna be like, if somebody, wanted me to help them get a job, and they also like were secretly in love with me or something, not secret, not like in love, but they also found me like, I mean, who knows, but they kept that shit to themselves. Like, that has nothing to do with me. Like, so I'm not, it's like, now, if you came over and we spent time together and talked and chatted, and I, and it's under the assumption that, like, you just want to talk and like brainstorm and stuff and like vent, but then you're also like going to try to make a move on me, yeah, I would like to know that. But if you're, a responsible, like, adult and stuff, and keep that to yourself, you know, you know, that's, like I just said, that's none of my business. So, those kind of things are like, um, that's how that is, but like, um, you know, those kind of things happen far and few between. It's not too often that somebody's like secretly in love with somebody and it's not reciprocated, however you say that word. Like, usually, you like those kind of things, when you're older and stuff, usually that's a situation that happens like when you're younger. Um, so, yeah. Um, you know, if I have a friend, usually people put off like kind of weird energy and stuff, like when they have those kind of, like uncertainty type feelings and stuff. and it's readable. You know, and that is something that is that is, you know, a you problem, unless, you know, it is taken into consideration by the person that it is put on, you know, and then that, you know, and what a great feeling, you know, that would be to like somebody and then be like, oh, I'll like you back, you know, like, what can we do about this situation? You know, like, hey, if I had a super massive crush on somebody, I had never had, like, a super massive crush on somebody, and, okay, I'm gonna leave it there, because I haven't, like, I've never been in a situation to where I really like someone, and, it wasn't a them first, like, even energetically, them first situation. Um, I don't know what that says about me. I think that has to do with, yeah, like my attention span and stuff. And also because I think I think it also might have to do with me growing up in the arts, and, you know, me finding, like, me being attracted to lots of different things. Um, you know, and also, um, being a person who is always been, like, really self-sufficient, and, you know, having, like, easy to connect with other people and stuff. Now, you know, like, obviously I I am single, you know, so, like, that hasn't really worked out in my favor. You know, but, like, at times that I've, like, tried to, like, get together or, like, get to know people that I like and, like, would want to date and stuff and have a romantic interest in, um I usually don't get any, like, kind of reciprocated, like, feedback, and so I just don't, because I'm like, um I'm not a beggar, like, you know. I think that's weird. I don't understand the whole, like, you know, being a feminine straight woman and stuff, like, I don't, you know, it's like you have to have some kind of, like, um feedback, like, you know, someone has to show some kind of interest back in order for me to, um like, a lot, in order for me to, like, pursue it, I guess. And also, I'm in a situation, so, you know, it's like if I'm talking to somebody and that question, and, you know, in that kind of form and stuff, and they come back with any kind of, like, you know, oh, I'm just not feeling it. I'm like, okay, you know, like, because, like, I don't know, I don't really do stuff that, like I said, I've never been married, you know, legally and stuff, but I've also, so, like, I don't know how to really, get to that point, like, and I have a lot of trauma, so, a lot, you know, I have a lot of, like, people don't want to be around me trauma, and that's just, like, I know that that's not true, you know. And how I know that is, like, I keep the whole, like, I have a, you know, people don't notice that much, you know, like, if you're not bothering people, then people don't really have an opinion about it. But, like, I will say, you know, that, like, on the subject of, like, spending time with others and dating and stuff, like, you know, I am, you know, of course I have friends and stuff, and I know lots of people, but, like, I am, and I've not ever really always been like this. I've, gone through points in my life where I'm like, this is more heavy on my mind than others. But for some reason, it is something that, like the topic of dating and finding somebody, that is attracted to me, somebody who cares about me and stuff, is something that I'm doing right now. I have talked to a couple people in that way, in the past couple months, because like as soon as I got my mind back, I was like, we're gonna do this, because I also needed to just talk to people and stuff, and what better way than like to feel around about yourself than people who judge you. So are judging you and looking at you. So it's like I needed a once over kind of thing. But like, I have noticed a couple people that do, obviously have interest in me and stuff, and like, it makes me really aware of how stupid I am in those lines, because I'm like, am I supposed to be doing something? Like, why would somebody have a crush on somebody and not act on it? Like, I was watching some reels earlier, and this lady was like, said something about, she's like, if you leave me on red, she's like, I'm assuming that means you want me to show up at your house. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I'm so glad those days are behind me. Like, that's one of the reasons why my anxiety is so bad, is because, like, I definitely had to use, not anybody that I liked. I mean, I hate to say that. There were people, because if there's somebody that is respecting me, and then, like, of course I'm going to respect you and stuff. If you have not given me any reason to show up at your house, then I'm not gonna do that. Like, I am not actually crazy. I just will put myself, like, I do take action. And some people need to have, needed to be reminded of that at times, and I definitely have done that. But that is a matter of like, leave me alone. Like, obviously you think I'm not going to do anything about this, that I'm full of shit. I'm going to show you that I'm not full of shit. So those days are in my past. I don't talk to people like that anymore, and that was the point from doing that, is because I didn't want to have people like that in my life. And I don't have people like that in my life. The people that I know now and the people that I surround myself with respect me. And, I think that's great. I hated that I even got to that point around, that had to be around people that, for whatever reason, they're like, let's test Chelsea. Like, she's not gonna do anything. What it is I don't give a shit. And there's a little part of me, and, the Christian part of me is like, sometimes people need to be reminded that, love is out there, and that people do care, and that people do, take action and stuff like that. And, even if it's somebody that is not part of their life, it's like, they need to be reminded that, like, there is, like, keep going, like, don't give up, So the times that I have had to show up at somebody's house, like I said, that is a point of no return for me. Like, if I have to, man, I did do a good job cutting my hair. That has been a thing. It's like, I'm not, like, I've never had to do that for somebody that I've known a long time. So, but, like, that's not a good feeling. I don't like being tested, but, like, I definitely care, and I definitely have had to, show people that people do care and stuff. So, and that goes in a good way and a bad way. Like, sometimes people have needed to know that other people care. It's like, no, people can see you, um, you know. So, um, yeah. Um, I have stopped taking one of the blood pressure anxiety medicine, and it is leaving me a little bit more quiet. But I like myself, like, that's a normal, natural thing, and my face has been kind of like swelling up a little bit and stuff. Apparently, that's just part of who I am, my face swelling up and stuff. But yeah. Um, that's heavy on my mind right now is some um social interactions that I've been dealing with that are confusing, because like that is forever a confusing thing to me when I'm single and trying to navigate that kind of environment, is because, like, like I said, I am a person that I'm like, hey, but there are millions and millions of factors in the world that, cause people to act and do and say and stuff, the things that they do, you know. So like it's really hard for me to read stuff like that. Just because I'm in a state that where I want to hang out and see other people, or, see people and stuff, is like, doesn't mean that somebody who is attracted to me wants to get together at the same time I do. So it's also one of those things that's like, um, you know, do you wait? Like, of course, at the same time, it's like anytime that I've ever like it's hard for me to find anybody that I'm compatible with. So it's not a matter of waiting kind of thing. But it does make me self-conscious, and I'm just kind of like, okay, you can't think about stuff like that. That's normal. So I do wonder if my mom usually is just active on Sundays, so I'm like, I wonder if she's watching my stuff, but probably not. So that's a thing in me making these videos public. Yep. Man, my hair is so much darker. It is my natural hair color again. I have my natural hair color again for the first time in a couple years, and that's pretty neat. In looking at myself in the video and stuff, it looks fine, but in a lot of lightings, even though they are dark, my eyebrows disappear. And they're there right now, but so it look like I have a dent in my forehead. But yeah, just kind of hoping and praying that everything continues to go smoothly, and I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing for the next couple weeks. Nothing, like, I have nothing to do, and so I'm kind of like trying not to think too much, but at the same time, I'm like trying to like, I know that they're not watching this video, but I've been trying to like, keep myself from falling into anything, because like, there are a couple that are people that are definitely like, hey, and I'm like, no. It's nice to talk and like, you know, like I consider you a friend and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, like I've already, my attention is somewhere else, you know, even though like I am single and like to be honest with you, you know, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, you know, because there are parts of me that are like, I don't know if that's right. You know, I don't know if I should be paying any kind of attention to that or not. It's a whole, like, you know, being yourself kind of situation. And, you know, so I'm doing a lot of self filtering. And right now, I really do not want to be doing that. Like, that is not a fun thing to be sitting and, um, or, you know, obviously I'm not sitting, I'm going and doing stuff, but like the whole time, you know, I'm like looking at myself and, you know, and like judging myself, you know, and it's like nobody, I don't think anybody else has to freaking do that. Like, why am I doing that? You know, like, and, but at the same time, it's like, obviously, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm doing that because I'm not getting any feedback, you know, and, you know, like where people have obviously put out energy, like in signals and stuff, but then they don't follow through. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, I've always known that, like, if somebody does that, then, you know, it's really none of your business. But at the same time, when it's like that for months and months and 2 years and someone's still acting weird and still acting, you know, it's like, um, you know, is this a problem? You know, it's like, I'm not a stripper, you know, like, my life is not entertainment. Um, you know, by this point, you should be kind of traumatized if you've been paying attention to me for 2 years and haven't reached out to like talk to me or like help me or anything. So I'm kind of, I don't know, it's a little confusing, like, you know, and then that makes me think, okay, well, the person's obviously, you know, like not single because like how could you do that on your own, you know? And then I'm kind of like, I don't know. It, you know, I hate this word. I hate saying this, but I'm like, are we getting into like, are you okay? like, place. And, you know, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I think I've said everything that I can say about that because like my mind, like it, like that, it don't make sense. Like it, I think I, you know, obviously don't have enough to do right now, you know, and, um, I think that I don't need to be worrying so much about being in a relationship, even though I'd really like to. But at the same time, you know, I've taken a look around at like my own, you know, like outlets and stuff, like where I would go to meet people. I'm like, okay, you know, obvious, like, and you know, like there really isn't anybody, and like, you know, it is a matter of like I am such a niche interest person that you know it is a matter of like, oh, you know, I'm gonna be single forever. like you know, like, so, you know, because like the, you know, people that I'm like, oh, I do have a crush on, you know, and like you know, they like me back, you know, and stuff, but it's like, oh, they're not as interested as I am, you know, so I just have to just kind of be like, not think about that, you know, and then I look around and I'm like, you know, slim pickings, as they say, you know, and because like, there's tons of single people, but like, you know, go to have a conversation and like, you know, there's hundreds of different reasons why I'm not compatible with different people, you know, like, um, I always boil it down to them like, oh, they don't like me, that, because that's the easiest way to kind of like sum up the situation is like, because they'll say something and it's like, okay, well, if that's the situation, and sure enough, like, they, walk away for whatever reason, and it's like, and then they come back, and I'm like, I'm still here. So, I think that's really funny. But at the same time, now I'm in a situation where I'm like, um, my standards like have raised, and like what I like and who I like and stuff, is pretty set, and I'm like, that's gonna be good, for like, I'm just gonna hold on to these standards and this situation for like, however long it takes for me to like, seek some kind of leeway or movement or change in that situation. And anybody else, who comes about, like, unless they can step up to that, then, they don't have a chance, let's put it that way, because once I do like somebody, like, there ain't no going back from that. Like, I have to get over it. So, and some things run pretty deep. So, like, I'm dealing with that, and it's really funny because it wasn't me first. Like, so, that's, confusing. I kind of wish I had realized that when I was younger, because that's probably always been the situation, to where I've like, halfway gaslighted into, thinking that, at the time, that it was a me first situation. And I'm like, wait, no, like, I wouldn't have, put myself out there and had the interest that I had in the person if they hadn't have also like shown, that kind of interest in me. And so it's like, obviously I'm overthinking it, and it's, that kind of situation. So yeah, got a little bit of stuff that isn't going to make sense to everybody, but got a little bit of talking out. But some people, might understand the world in which I'm describing of like social interactions and single life and trying to be social while also like hoping to date, and stuff like that. So trying to decide whether I think I'm about to go get something to eat, and it's a great feeling. So don't have a whole lot of activity to do right now, and also I can't like exactly just immediately go back to work. So I'm also got a lot of cleaning that I have to do, and I'm like kind of procrastinating about it now, like at this point, because now I'm just at the point where I can't accomplish that stuff. But I kind of wish, like, I'm grieving right now, my grandparents and stuff, and like I don't have any like a support team like I was used to when I was younger, of people that would like be here for me and stuff. And so I'm very much alone, and so I'm having to like keep being like really faced with it. It's hard, dementia and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's definitely an in-between period. And then there's the situation where my father passed away in 2008. And, my mom's dealing with old age and stuff. And so, it's all very, and I have a brother who is, really bad mental health problems and stuff. So, I am like, it's difficult. Like I said when I first started the video, is, every day I wake up like, you know, um, I have to take a couple minutes to like I wake up with PTSD. Like I said, I was 2 years ago waking up having seizures, like into a seizure, and that directly has to do with all this trauma. Um, on top of the fact, because like everything I say and do, I'm going to add this in there because, fun times. But, the root cause of all this is that I have neurological autism. So, is like I'm having physical symptoms and stuff like my face swelling and all that stuff is all like manifestation of a mental illness that's like a real thing. Like, mental illnesses and stuff, have like physiological changes in your body and stuff. That's what makes them a mental illness. The thing is with autism disorder is it, not ASD, but classic autism is something that happens before you're born. So, you have physical, like, you're not mentally ill, but you have like the same kind of, I've got a box sitting here. And like stimulus and stimuli and stuff over a period of time in certain areas of your brain, like tapping on, we'll say, on certain areas of your brain constantly from repeated types of stress and environmental stuff is how, like, mental illnesses become mental illnesses. They become permanent. And you have like a like a basis towards one way or the other, stuff like that. But like my mental illnesses come from having they are adaptive. So they're not actually mental illnesses. They're personality traits. And because they're personality traits, that's what leaves me, immune to a personality disorder. So they're like, it's like when you're doing yard work or stuff, and like say you're cutting the grass and you hold your hand a certain way all the time, and you get blisters on your thumb, like from the holding the bar. What are you gonna do? You're gonna put gloves on, and or may try to hold the lawnmower in a certain way when you push it so you don't get blisters on it. That's how my anxiety works. It's like because I am missing, like I have a certain way that my brain, literally, not my brains, not my mind, but like, because I have, I say deformity, neurological situation that was, developed in a different way, it makes me more inclined to do things in a certain way. And so it leaves me to, be more sensitive to some things like, because like I can't perceive clearly in certain aspects of like thought and like situations and stuff. And like, so one of those is like my sleep wake schedule is, and that whole circadian rhythm and all that kind of stuff is a little weird. And so I am more, I've explained this on my Facebook and talking the last couple of weeks. I'm more apt to have certain types of seizures and certain kinds of injuries, and sure enough, I did. So, yeah, but I'm getting through it. Like, I wake up and, like, that happened, and I'm like, okay, I know this is going to go away in about 15 minutes. And it did, and I don't have to have any kind of rescue medications. I didn't have any full seizures. My antidepressant actually keeps me from, having seizures, which is really crazy because that's not how life is supposed to work, but it does for me. So, all right, hope everybody has a good day.